I will call to order the Impact Fee Advisory Committee meeting of August 17th, 2021. May we have a roll call, please?
Pachalski.
Here.
Haas.
Here.
Snyder.
Here.
Schatz.
Here.
Moore. Smetana.
Here.
Marinette. Earhart. Davidson. Miller.
Yes. Okay, we do have a quorum. I would request a motion to approve the Impact Fee Advisory Committee minutes of June 1st, 2021.
So moved.
Motion by Snyder, second by Haas. Any questions, changes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Chairman remarks. I just want to thank you for everybody that's attending. I know these meetings are hard to schedule. I want to thank Chris and John Loper for all the time they put in this. We do have an action item today on our ordinance, so I thank you guys for coming. And other than that, I think everything is going well with everything we've done so far. Next, we'll go to item number 5, which is discussion, which is the ordinance on public hearing and comments. John, do you want to do the presentation?
Yeah, so in front of you, you have 2 of these blue handouts. One of them has a green tab, and that is a copy of the ordinance and then a public hearing presentation. I'll refer to that in a minute, but the other one is our agenda for today. And that one says Impact Fee Advisory Committee, August 2021. So I apologize, I should have differentiated the cover a little bit better. So today we're talking about what happened at the Impact Fee Ordinance public hearing, and the answer is nothing. There were no attendees.
Move to approve. Hard to believe. Who had 0 on you over and under?
Yeah, right. So anyway, just as a reminder, that public hearing presentation was taped and videoed and is on our Impact Fee website. It's something that if you have anybody who is interested in what's going on, direct them to the Impact Fee website. And it kind of runs through the presentation that you have in front of you there with the green tab. Just a reminder of what we did and what we've been proposing. I know there's been a lot going on this year with the pandemic and everything, and we're going to kind of lose track of what's happening and what has happened. Last time we met, we talked a little bit about what we're proposing to do inside the ordinance. Those changes talked about expanding the eligibility or the usage of the funds by entities not DuPage County. So municipalities and the state may use those funds in the existing fund accounts for eligible projects. And so the definition of eligibility is not a deficient intersection or roadway, has some benefit to DuPage County DOT highway. So those are things that have been made available to this ordinance. We're also including a section on impact fee mitigation. So that mitigation speaks to downtown developments or mixed use development in strategic locations where there's a lot of walk traffic, accessibility to transit, bus travel, internal capture of just development traffic. So those things are now codified within the ordinance going forward. Also, at the request of development community, we changed the way in which we process demolition credits. Those demolition credits now accrue to the property and not to the property owner or to the former property owner. So that's an important step. Makes it easier for people to actually apply and get those demolition credits. Also exemptions. One of the problems that many municipalities have is really understanding what is and what is not exempt from paying impact fees, and so this ordinance provides a list of those exempt items. So in addition to that, we also did a lot of work with the rate schedules, which included updating the cost calculation for the highway component. Those haven't been changed since 2007, 2008. So the construction cost index was applied, which resulted in about a 35 to 38% increase in impact fees. That was offset by about 20% decrease due to impact fee credits for local gas tax and MST consumption. So 38% up, 20% down. And then there's additional revisions to the trip generation rates and to VMT and to also to drawing a blank here. A couple of the other factors that were included, so those further decrease that or offset that increase in construction cost index. So it's kind of a mixed bag. There's some increase, some decrease. Some of the new categories that are going in that we are proposing are really able to differentiate between what is a commercial retail use and, let's say, a large box Home Depot. So in the past, we didn't have like a Home Depot or Superstore category. We didn't also have high cube warehousing or distribution, distribution facilities like the Amazon facilities in the list of land uses. So adding those now allows us a little bit more flexibility in terms of how we assess impact. So I think that's kind of an overview of what we have done, what we're suggesting that we do within this particular iteration of the impact fee ordinance. If there are any questions, I'm happy to take those now, but having considered that in the past here recently a couple of times, we'd like to get your approval to move forward and recommend it to the Transportation Committee for consideration.
Any comments, questions, or anything yet? If not, we're going to go into our next discussion and comprehensive road improvement plan update. Is that?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Thank you.
So
for a presentation and you have your reference.
So in one meeting, one other meeting.
So in this agenda presentation for today, after that first page, ordinance update, there's something called the script update page. See the second page. So here we're talking a little bit about what we are going to be doing as part of the CRIP. As you are familiar probably by now, the state statutes require us to produce a comprehensive road improvement plan. This one happens to be tied very much to our long-range transportation plan. Many of the same functions and steps that we've taken with the LRTP are kind of duplicative of what we would typically do with the CRIP. So many of the steps that we would do, land use assumptions, existing conditions report, forecast, needed projects, project scheduling, funding, all that kind of stuff has been done through the LRTP process. There'll be some minor modifications for the funding and for the project schedule, just because we're looking at a 10-year list with the CRIP as opposed to a 20-year with the long-range plan. There'll happen to be many of the same projects, if not all the same projects, that will appear on both of those lists. So just a reminder of where we were before the pandemic hit. The next page, we talked a little bit about existing conditions and what we are obligated to do. One of the things that we must do as part of the state statutory guidance is that we must establish which projects or locations are currently or presently deficient in terms of performance. And that means we grade those on a level of service basis from A to F, A being the best level of service and F being the worst. tied to elements of congestion, travel time, velocity, speed, and volume to capacity ratios. And we've identified those through a whole series. Next slide. We've identified those through the whole series of surveys that we did in 2018 and 2019 before we were interrupted. And what we discovered was that we had approximately 72 deficient intersections, not just on DuPage County highways, but also on state, municipal, other larger arterials. Unfortunately, we can't do every single collector route, but most of these are on our class 1, 2, and 3 arterials, ranging from collector class up to principal arterials. So there's a list of those deficiencies coming up in a couple pages. Some of those deficiencies are identified. County deficiencies are probably about 8 to 10 of them that are significant, like Naperville Road and Deal Road. Marcy knows that one. Army Trail at Gary and Schmally, Deal Road and North Aurora Road. So again, these were collected at a time when traffic was very high and not in 2020 or early 21. So state, there's quite a few. Hi, Jeff.
Sorry to be late.
There are quite a few deficient conditions under the state jurisdiction, including 38 in Naperville, which we have a project ongoing there. 75th at Maple, 53 at Maple, 53 at Warrenville Road. So there are quite a number of these, and our intent is to be able to put these into the LRTP to identify them as required by the statute, and to then put those when they're incorporated into the plan, will indicate in the plan that they're not eligible for impact fee funds. Next slide. This is just a graph. This is just a look out at what we're going to be talking about in terms of capital funding. We've done this for the LRTP. I appreciate it if, when you look at this is a draft for us, and it will likely change and will be part of the CRIP draft that we'll send to you. Numbers may change, but what we're looking at here is identification of what our operating costs and maintenance responsibilities are first, and then what we'll have money for to spend on capital projects over the course of the 5 and 10 year period. You also see a list of the program projects that we have for the 5 years, and then what we're anticipating spending on over the course of the following 5 or 10 year period. So the next steps for the CRIP are that we're going to finalize the draft of the CRIP and bring that back to you. We'll submit that to you prior to a meeting. Have you guys review it. Let us know what your feelings are about that. We'll include a list of the eligible projects where we can spend it what we can. And then we'll, with your approval, we'll set a date for a public hearing for the CRIP as required by statute. Incorporate public comments, finalize the CRIP, and then come back to you prior to passing it on to Transportation Committee and the County Board. So the exact dates are not worked out yet, but but sometime in late September. I hope to meet with you guys again. The CRIP should be finished, and at least in a draft format by that time. And then we have a mandatory 30-day window for advertising for the public hearing, and then a comment period thereafter before we can ever go to the Transportation Committee and County Board.
All right, thank you, John. Does anybody have any questions, comments on the second presentation? I think road improvement plan. John, thank you. All right, as we said, I'll go to item 6, and I would ask for a motion to approve and recommend to the Transportation Committee ordinance OTG 021S-89 and the revised fee rate schedule.
Second.
Motion by Paul Haas, second by Chris Snyder. Anybody have any questions? Every none, we have a roll call vote, please.
Pachowski.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Schatz.
Aye.
Moore. Smetana.
Aye.
Marinette.
Aye.
Earhart. Davidson. Miller.
Aye. All right, so that has passed, and we'll go to transportation, and then after transportation, I assume we go to the county board, and we're gonna try to get a meeting before it goes to the county board. Is that our, kind of schedule?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, this is the ordinance, John. This has an independent track.
Right, this is the ordinance, and we will have a meeting on the CRIP itself prior to county
Okay.
board.
So this has been approved, gone out for public meeting, public hearing. So this is the ordinance update and will become effective upon board approval, or is it January 1?
So we're going to set it for December 1, which is the start of the fiscal year, of our fiscal year. And that's what we're aiming for. That has always been probably the easiest way for our departments to really prosecute that. You know, the ordinances. Hopefully, you know, this will, our systems will be up and ready to go with, you know, for the new fiscal year.
All right. Anybody else have anything? We have anything on their old business? I don't think so. Yes, Paul?
Just under new business.
Yes. Yes.
Just if I could, I just want to thank Chris and John and your department. You guys were instrumental in helping us with our CMAP LTA grant for the Lake Street corridor. And I want to take this opportunity to publicly thank you on behalf of our department, building and zoning, and also the communities that will benefit from the LTA, Hanover Park, Roselle, and Bloomingdale. So thank you for that.
All right, thank you for your comments. Anything else under new business? If nothing, without objection, we stand adjourned.
Not quite a record time meeting.